Okay, so last week, episode 6. I didn't really get that many notes, you know. This week, I don't know if you can tell. A lot more shit happened. Alright, I don't have my glasses on. So, Kamen Rider Build, episode 7. It's called The Devil's Scientist. And as somebody who's a huge fan of Devil's Carnival. Hallelujah. I always like titles that have the word devil in. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm crazy. I haven't taken a shower yet today. Okay, so first thing they say, human experimentation taboo. Makes sense. Yeah. Then they say Katsuragi is the devil's scientist because he started doing human experimentation, which everybody else is thinking, oh, that's weird. Spoiler alert, near the end of the episode, they reveal that Katsuragi actually founded Faust, which is the organization that created, built, and experimented on Banjo and creates all the smashes. So, that's interesting. Also, that was a big reveal. I don't know why I basically opened with it. We're about a minute in. Okay, so, Sento goes over and tries looking through all of Katsuragi's notes and notices that the updates for all of the notes end about a month before he actually died. There's a whole argument at the beginning of the episode where Banjo is like, I'm pretty sure you killed him because I showed up at 10 a.m. and you showed up at 9 a.m. and he was dead at 10 a.m. Which is like... I realize that Sento is a physicist and also has amnesia, so he probably doesn't understand exactly what happened that day, but I also feel like he's probably intelligent enough to know, like, here's a dead body. Let's figure out how long it's been dead through, like, basic forensics. Whatever. So, this is a very political episode, I think, because we have the different Seito, Hokuto, and Toto. We've seen Toto so far, which is the pacifist area, and that's where most of build has taken place so far. But we need to go to Hokuto. That's where Katsuragi comes from. Japanese words. Alright. So, they mentioned that Hokuto is well known for having strict control over immigration laws. What with the wall, they can't get people coming from the south. Okay. Moving on. Moving on from that. So, they need to get money so that they can bribe their way across. I'm moving on. So, it's called the Sky Road, which, if you ask me, it sounds very much like they were going to go over the sky wall, but then you remember that's called the Sky Wall. So the road is actually like cracks, and they use a demonstration of this by taking a fork and plunging through a thin stripe of cake, explaining that although the cake is there, these are still slices we can sneak in through the cracks if we bribe the guy. It's like a toll booth. So most of the episode is them trying to get into Hokuto. They get the money through Mizora, which is the girl who does all the idol things, gets on camera and she's like, I have a very special request. That was a terrible voice. I apologize. So she gets on there and basically gets people to donate money. And then they use the money, which I don't know Japan, but they have cash, which in America would either mean that they were donations from PayPal, which then transfer over to a bank account and then withdrawn from a bank account, or they were like anonymous Western Unions. I don't like Western Union. I also don't know Japanese economy, and I especially don't know the Toto Japanese economy, because that is a fictional location. The Sky Wall kind of ruins any and all sort of firm grasp about, and we're gonna get to that actually. So we cut away from the main story to go to the villains. We get Faust, and the Faust boss is like talking to Bloodstock, and he's like, duh, duh, duh. Doesn't really matter. It's fine. So they mention that the Kamen Riders, Faust plans on using them for military use, which makes sense because they have all of them, like them robots that they have, the RoboCop guys. What if they were Kamen Riders? Nobody can stop a rider kick. It can go through anything. So, not a bad plan. However, you are the bad guy, so like I feel like you're gonna misuse that power. So, Sento's boss is the one explaining this, and then pulls out a gun and a bottle, and he is Night Rogue. I'm getting better at remembering their names. Taking notes helps. So Night Rogue and Bloodstalker both there, and really there's no real point to that scene. From a meta perspective, that scene is entirely just to show the audience who Night Rogue is, but also not show them who Bloodstock is, which is odd. We still don't know who Bloodstock is. But we've revealed to the audience something that the main character doesn't know, just for the sake of dramatic irony, which makes the scene coming up a little weird. So, Hokuto. There's a little fight scene outside of the sky wall, and Night Rogue shows up, and he's like, I'm gonna kill all these people unless Build shows you up. Which, okay. I should note actually that the people he's threatening to kill are the refugees from Hokuto. Now, so far we know that Hokuto has a strict control over immigration coming in, but apparently we also know that they have strict control over immigration going out of Hokuto. These are refugees trying to apparently escape something that we don't really know about yet, because again, we've only seen Toto. But Faust is there, and so I assume some sort of border patrol. This is geopolitical. So they're like, no. But the refugees are like, but we have money. And they want to escape, presumably going south to a better life. But the Faust Night Rogue shows up, and he's like, I'm gonna kill all of these guys. This Build shows up, I'm pretty sure he's here. And then you hear Rabbit Tink, and he jumps in, and they fight. And it's great. This is different from how I normally watch Kamen Rider, because the fights do not seem to be as important as the plot, so it's taking me a while to process, and I'm not taking as many notes during the fights. But I do want to mention that all the Night Rogue and Bloodstock have clear toy weapons. So I guess they're getting toys. It's unusual. It's unusual for the main bad guys to have toys unless they also count as riders. But whatever, I mean, I like the Tadake. So, Banjo, throughout most of this, is dressed as a clown, as a clever disguise. And he's like, I'm a clown. No one will see through it. I got a red squeaky nose. And then Night Rogue looks at him, and he's like, wait, you're... But Build stops him before things happen. So Hokuto cannot grow crops. You see, it has like a weird soil composition problem. Haha, in joke. Nobody's gonna understand. I'm not gonna understand that a week from now. So Hokuto cannot grow crops. It's like a weird, desolate area that they discover. Even the sky seems slightly darker. They have like a picture of Japan, and they show Hokuto like turning red because of what the sky wall is doing. I find interesting. I'm not going to look into whether or not this is a thing that could potentially happen, whether or not the crops in Japan are grown only in the southern regions for whatever reason. I do know that it reminds me a lot about the Hunger Games, with the different districts and being isolated with different things. So Hokuto seems like a very feudal era looking Japan. it everything is like dirty and desolate and not growing. There's very little power. The teachers are working for free and trying to teach kids basic fractions. And one of the kids even says, "When I grow up, I want to be a teacher for free, just like my teacher." The teacher, by the way, seems to be Katsuragi's mother. And each morning she creates a rolled omelet, which is basic food, but she apparently does this in the hopes that Katsuragi will eventually come home and that will be the first thing he sees and eats. But the children are like, "That's weird, right? Because he's dead." Which, gotta hand it to them, it's pretty fucking blunt. So, interesting thing is the theory that Sento is Katsuragi. I don't know exactly how that would work, but every time that she sees or speaks to Sento, the conversation seems very odd. Sento is trying to help one of the dying children, and he pinky promises the child, pinky. It's hard to do with myself. So the child was talking about how he wants to be a teacher, and Sento's like, "That's great. Promise me that when you do become a teacher, you'll teach me something." Which, considering just a few episodes ago, we got the revelation that he is literally the smartest person on Earth. Maybe this is how he does it. He just finds dying children and saves their life in exchange for them teaching him things. But when he does that, the woman teacher, Katsuragi's mother, sees the pinky promise, and in a very soap opera fashion, the camera zooms in on the pinky promise and then pans over to her face, and she's like, very, very soap opera. This is basically soap opera with fight scenes. I should note that Bloodstock has a gun with an attack called Devil's Steam, which, very Japanese, you call out your attacks, that's fine. It creates a mist that is apparently very painful and instantly transforms somebody into a smash. Considering that previously they had to have the huge, bed straight out of the Deadpool movie where you, inject gas into them and it's very painful. Not straight out of the Deadpool movie, but within recent memory, that's something most Americans would be aware of. So having just a gun that you can point at somebody and turns them into a monster through the use of gas seems, as I'm saying it aloud, very silly, but I thought it was cool when I was watching it. The camera's flashing. Oh, shit.